Hey guys, it's Arfan from marketingcode.com. Today we will make Starfield system. First I want to show you guys what we are making today. It is old school Parallax Starfield effect made with a few layers of stars. Each layer of star has a different speed because I want to start simple. And then in second part of tutorials I will show you guys how we can improve our code and how we can optimize things. So let's start. Okay, first things first, we will start from graphics. So we will first make a star prefab itself, and we will go to game object, create 2D object sprite. We will rename it to this star prefab. Then we want to populate with an image. Star image, which is by the way simple image made in the Photoshop. It's simple dot with a transparency, nothing special, and can be done in any software. And then we want to pull that object to the prefab folder and to make a prefab. We will need that prefab later on. So for now we can delete from the scene. Next step is to make an empty game object. We'll name that object Starfield. We will go to the script folder and make C# and name the same name Starfield. We'll make the C# class Starfield, and then we will just pull that file to our object like this, and pull down to the prefabs folder to make another prefab. We'll leave it that one here because we need that later on. We'll make another empty game object Starfield layer. Go to the scripts folder, create empty C# script, name it Starfield layer. Pull that on the R object like this, and we want to make prefab as well, like before, and we are good to go. Now we don't need this one because we will spawn these objects later on from the code. Okay, we'll start from Starfield layer because it's a part of the Starfield itself. It's a component, and we will start from using statement. We want to use system collection generic for our generic list later on. And first thing first, we will need to declare a few public variables. So first one is integer number of stars, floating point speed, float scale, and game object star prefab, which we made before. And private list of transforms where we want to store the stars. And we have two methods. First method is initialize method. So it's public void init, and each layer will have a different number of the stars, speed, and scale. So we initialize them here, and then we make empty list of transforms, and then in for loop we will go from 0 to number of stars, and each time we will create new star by the method provided by Unity engine instantiate, and we will instantiate star prefab, which is defined here. And every star will be on the random position on X and Y axis provided here, and then we will cast that to game object and store in the local variable geo. Then we want to specify here a local scale of the stars, which is nothing else than vector 3 times by scale. which is nothing else than 1 by 1 by 1 multiplied by scale. Here we will add in the list. That's the star will be added in the list, and we want to set just parent object, so each star will be child of the Starfield layer object. Okay. Now we have to add Unity void update methods, which will be called every single frame in Unity by Unity Engine, and for each we'll go through the whole list of the stars, and each frame will translate by minus speed times time delta time. Here we have a just if statement, so we want to specify if our star is moved down from the screen, we just want to pull it up, nothing else. In Starfield class, we are starting same like before with a using statement, and we want to use a system collection generic for our generic list. And we also have a few public variables, and there are number of layers, first one as integer, and we are setting to number 3, speed as a float, and we're setting to 2.5 as the default value, and speed difference, which is a difference in speed between each layers. Each layer will be faster by this speed, and it's floating point also, and the default value is 2. We have public game object Starfield layer prefab. This is a prefab Starfield layer prefab which we made before. Also, we need a list of Starfield layers. So generic list of Starfield layers. Name the fields. And we need just one method, which is void start. This is a common Unity method, which will be called on beginning of play. In that method, we want to create an empty list of Starfield layers, and then in for loop we can go from 0 to number of layers, and each time we will instantiate new Starfield layer prefab and store to this local variable as game object. So we want to set the parent to the Starfield, so each Starfield layer will be child of the Starfield, and then we want to get component Starfield layer component, which is our script on the Starfield layer object, and we want to store in this variable, and then we can call the init method, which is defined in Starfield layer script, and this is fastest way how we can initialize with the different values each layer. So each time I will go from 0 to number of layers, of course. First time will be 0. So 80 minus 0 will be 80, of course. Next time I multiply by 20 will be 20. So 80 minus 20 will be 60, and next time 40, 20. So same thing for speed, just we are setting the speed to be bigger each time. So for each layer it will be speed bigger by speed difference, and also we want to provide a variation in scale between layers, and that's pretty much it. So we can start with the testing it. Okay, now we have to set up our objects. Finally, select Starfield object here, and we want to pull Starfield layer prefab in this field here, and we can change this value if we want, but we will leave it like this for now, and just press apply to save them in the prefab. Then we have to go to Starfield layer prefab itself and to set up that prefab again, because we want to specify the start prefab object. This is the star preferred object. We just want to pull that object here, and that's it. So we can start with testing. Just press play, and okay, there we go. It's working. So now we can specify a different number of the layers. So we can say 6, something extreme, and each layer will have different speed and will have beautiful parallax effect here. But of course, it's not a good idea to setting these numbers too high because of the performance reasons. And by the way, this is not the most optimal way how we can make this Starfield system, but I made it like this because I want to make things simple in the beginning, and later on when we finish first series of tutorials we will start with second one, and we will try to improve the things and to optimize things, to use Profiler a little bit, to see how and where we can improve our code. So that's it for this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching me, and good luck.